Hello everyone, Simon Bright here, and welcome to my 100th episode! And the top 10 list! It is my 100th episode on this channel, and to celebrate, I'm going to do something a little special. I'm going to talk about a special time in Disney animation history. A time that is known as the Disney Renaissance. It is the decade of Disney becoming a bigger name after Walt's death. With the animation department run by Walt's nephew, the late Roy E. Disney, the films that came out became big to moderate successes and are widely appreciated by many, with its retelling of classic stories, great animation, and fun and likable characters. And only 10 movies have been known to make the era, from 1989 to 1999. And because of that, it only makes sense to do a top 10 list of these films. So get ready, for my 100th episode is my top 10 Disney Renaissance films. Number 10. Hercules. Based around the Greek mythology, this movie is kind of fun on how it's presented, and while it's not one of the best in the Renaissance, it still manages to be fun with its big action scenes, good-looking animation, and fine characters. Hercules, when just a baby, has been prophesied by the three faiths to defeat Hades, the god of the underworld. So Hades has Hercules become mortal and is raised by two farmers. But as he grows older, he learns of his true past, and his real father Zeus sends him to see Phil, a satyr that trains men into heroes. And soon Hercules becomes a hero in all of Greece, defeating every monster Hades throws at him. Unbeknownst to him that Hades has plans to rule Mount Olympus, and uses a woman named Meg to distract him. Like I said, the fun of the film mainly comes in its presentation, with songs mostly performed by the Muses in gospel style, Hades being a fun and good villain, Hercules being the equivalent of Elvis, and all the action scenes with the various creatures, the Hydra, the Centaur, and all the Titans in the climax. The rest of the characters are mainly fine, and the songs are kind of forgettable, which is mostly why I put it really low. But it's worth it for its animation, action, and villain. Mixed in with design work by George Scarfe, who did Pink Floyd's The Wall, and you get a good-looking film and a decent enough presentation. It's not really a great film, but it certainly packs a punch with all the fun it has. Number 9. Mulan. As a film loosely based on the Chinese legend, there are some things about it that do make it worth watching, even when people say it's mainly okay. A woman named Mulan has failed to bring honor to her family as a bride, but when her father is called to serve the emperor to fight the invading Huns, Mulan steps in her father's place, knowing he'll never survive due to his weak condition. And disguised as a man, Mulan tries to learn how to be one while training for battle with the other men. It feels like a small film in that there's not much to explain about it. I mean, the characters are kind of good, the animation is beautiful looking, and the songs, though very few, are pretty enjoyable. But at the same time, it likes to be a serious film. Yet most of the comedy kind of feels awkward, with some exceptions from Eddie Murphy as Mushu, and the three men of the army, Ping, Chiappo, and Yao. And what other Disney animated film would have men and women become naked to go swimming? But for what it is, it still works out in the end. Its own mood and atmosphere are good to get into, but its characters, animation, and songs are simply worth the watch. Many people may find it to be okay and would like certain aspects of it, although for me, I find that there's plenty to go around, and perhaps a little more. It's a good film with plenty of moments that do make it a decent enough watch from time to time. Number 8. Tarzan. Based on the characters created by Edgar Rice Burroughs, this movie is a swinging good time, and it certainly deals with having one man struggle between being with humans or being with apes. When a leopard has killed a baby's parents, an ape named Kala decides to raise the baby into the ape man named Tarzan, much to the dismay of another ape named Kerchak. And as Tarzan makes friends and fights the leopard, 3 humans enter the jungle, Clayton, Professor Porter, and Jane Porter, who Tarzan falls in love with. And both Jane and Tarzan get to know about each other and their worlds, while Clayton tries to get Tarzan to the apes in order to capture them. It's kind of impressive how the film flows and works out from time to time. The characters are quite good, but its animation and music is what pulled it off. especially the swinging or surfing through the trees, which is done very well. And the songs by former Genesis singer Phil Collins are really catchy and surprisingly good. And the comedy from the characters are quite fun and would even get a laugh from time to time. There's just a certain enjoyment to this film that's hard to point out, but watching it kinda brings that point out. The film is fun with its animation, characters, and songs that are hard to resist. It's quite an enjoyable film, and a really good one to end the Disney Renaissance. Number 7. Pocahontas. Even though this film started the downfall of the Renaissance, I still think it's worth it for what it brings, as a film loosely based around the true story of the Native American princess. Captain John Smith, Governor Ratcliffe, and the English settlers set off to the New World, where Smith searches for adventure and Ratcliffe searches for gold. But within the New World, the Indian princess Pocahontas comes across Smith, and both of them learn about each of their worlds and eventually fall in love with each other. However, the Indians and settlers don't take kindly to each other, and it's up to Pocahontas to stop the feuding. As the black sheep of Disney animated films, I don't see it as a bad film. It's enjoyable as what it is. While some characters are okay, others are kind of good. The songs are pretty unforgettable and have catchy tunes, and a few epic build-ups. And the animation is really pretty to look at with its color scheme and all. Though the only problem I have is that it's sort of slow moving in between the songs, but it doesn't damage it at all. And as is, it's a good film. It may be slow moving at times, but all the songs, animation, and some characters pretty much make up for what it has. And this is a good film to enjoy as much as any other Disney flick. Number 6. The Rescuers Down Under. I've already reviewed this film before, and you can check it out for more, so there's not going to be much to this one. But I have to say, it's pretty underrated, and needs more attention. It's a lot better than the first Rescuers film, and it's a lot of fun and exciting. There's lots of great moments, fun characters, a fun villain, a good story, and amazing music. It's certainly one of the greatest sequels, and it is gaining a following, but I believe everyone should see this movie than the first film. Sorry if I couldn't get into any more of this, but I've already reviewed it, so check out the review and this movie. It's one amazing adventure that is worth rescuing and seeing. Number 5. The Hunchback of Notre Dom. It's as ambitious as Disney films go, taking a story that has its dark moments but balances it all out with plenty of comedic and wonderful moments, with a touch of an epic scale too. Based on the Victor Hugo novel, the hunchback named Quasimodo has been living in the bell tower of Notre Dame under the care of Judge Claude Frollo. But Quasimodo wants to visit the town, and so he does until being ridiculed by the townsfolk, in which a gypsy girl named Esmeralda helps him. And so Frollo, who hates gypsies, wants to have Esmeralda as his own or kill her, while Quasimodo has to help her and the other gypsies have their freedom. As a follow-up to Pocahontas, this one is very daring with its subject matter, and doesn't go too far with the idea. It's certainly complex in a simple enough manner, and is given lots of good effort. The characters, for the most part, are good, the animation is spectacular, and the songs are quite enjoyable and sometimes epic. Its story is quite dark, but some comical scenes and beautiful moments still keep it afloat and going. Sure, it feels like Pocahontas with its slow moments, but just about everything in this keeps it from being too boring. It has good characters, fascinating animation, and wonderful songs, all with a small but epic touch. It's a wondrous movie that manages to be dark and fun without going overboard. Number 4. The Little Mermaid. The film that began the Renaissance is the one that returned to fairy tales since Sleeping Beauty in 1959. And it's not only a really good retelling of the Hans Christian Andersen story, it's also a really fun and pretty engaging film. The Little Mermaid, named Ariel, has dreamed of living on the land, and decides to be with the humans ever since she first sees Prince Eric. But even with her father King Triton forbidding her to be on the land, Ariel seeks the help of the sea witch octopus named Ursula, who turns her into a human and gives her 3 days to have Eric give her the kiss of true love, or else she belongs to her. As a film to start the Renaissance, though some argue the Great Mouse Detective started it, it's still a really enjoyable film. It has fun and unforgettable songs, really good characters, and enjoyable animation, though certain moments are too much to handle, and one song is slightly annoying, but it's pretty much no biggie because those moments do go by pretty fast. And this movie is really well done. It has a pretty good story, songs that are just too catchy, enjoyable characters, and really good animation. It started the era and it still holds up for all to see. It's such a delightful film. Number 3. Aladdin. Based upon one of the tales of the Thousand and One Nights, this one is just a fun and rousing movie, filled with fun songs, great characters, and really good animation. Aladdin, who's been called a street rat, has been arrested for kidnapping Princess Jasmine, who actually ran away from getting married. But he escapes and comes to the Cave of Wonders, where he finds a lamp that contains a genie, who only grants him 3 wishes. And one of them is to be a prince, so he can have Jasmine be his wife. But the Sultan's advisor Jafar must find a way to retrieve the lamp from Aladdin, and use it for his own plans. This is one film that has fun with its ideas, and it definitely shows. With a really great villain, a very funny genie voiced by the late Robin Williams, lots of enjoyable songs, plenty of action scenes, and all the other great characters, all done in really good Disney animation. And as much as I reference this film in my reviews, it doesn't matter how much easier it is to bring up, yet it's too fun of a movie to go over. The characters, the songs, the animation, and its really fun humor. There's nothing much to say except that it's a fun movie with so much to take in, and so much to get into. Number 2. The Lion King. The highest grossing Disney film of its time, and one that got lots of attention until some 20 years later. It's presented in the most epic of ways it can be, as an African Sahara version of Shakespeare's Hamlet with lions. A cub named Simba was destined to become king of the Pride Lands, but his uncle named Scar wants to rule as king, so he has Simba's father Mufasa killed, and has Simba be the cause of his death. So Simba becomes an outcast where he makes new friends and lives most of his life with, until an old friend named Nala, a monkey named Rafiki, and the spirit of Mufasa tell him who he really is, and thus Simba heads back to the Pride Lands to confront his uncle. Just the size of it all is what makes it really enjoyable, from its catchy and fun songs by Elton John and Tim Rice, to the enjoyable characters, to the wondrous animation, and of course, the huge African-style score by Hans Zimmer. It's a really epic movie, and one that nobody should forget. It has its sad moments, happy moments, dark moments, and powerful moments. And it's one of those movies that makes you want to stand up and cheer. It's a powerful movie that brings out the lion in everyone. And my number 1 Disney Renaissance film is Beauty and the Beast. This film is just brilliant. It's pretty unforgettable and really wonderful, and it's certainly one of Disney's finest from beginning to end. Based on the story by Le Prince de Beaumont, a woman named Belle wants to have more out of the life she lives in, and constantly disapproves Gaston's proposal for marriage. But soon she goes to a castle where her father, Maurice, is held prisoner by the Beast, who's a prince put under a spell. So the Beast lets Maurice go in exchange for Belle to stay with him, and he and Belle get along with each other and eventually fall in love. There's no denying that this one would be at the top. The first animated film to be nominated for Best Picture, and it certainly deserves that honor. It's a movie with beautiful animation, great characters, wonderful story, and unforgettable songs by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, who passed away before the film's release, in which Disney wrote at the end of the film, "To our friend Howard, who gave a mermaid her voice and a beast his soul, we will forever be grateful." And the film itself is still one of Disney's greatest animated films. It's all outstanding, all fun, really entertaining, and full of wonderment in every corner. And that's why I say that Beauty and the Beast is my number 1 Disney Renaissance film. And that is it. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook or Twitter. And tune in next Wednesday for a new video.